Good afternoon. We have a special episode of the Ask Dr. Renee show today with Diann Valentine. Welcome to the Ask Dr. Renee show. I am Dr. Renee. The show is here to motivate and inspire you to live the life you deserve. I'm bringing the show to you to give you stories of people who are just like you, and now they have went on to live the life they deserve. I believe all of us should be happy. Life is short. This is not a dress rehearsal. Why are you waiting to start living? Live life now. So welcome to the show, Diann Valentine. Diann she's a designer. She was the host of I Do Over, Wedding Day. She's the creator of the Valentine Cuff. She's also an author, a mother, a wife, and a daughter. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you?
Great, great.
Yeah.
So today we're going to just delve into Diann, who started out in Oakland, California, and I don't know, dreamed a bigger dream and keeps doing things bigger and better. So I first became familiar with Diann when I saw this special on TV about weddings, and that was in 2001 or 2, I think. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 2000.
Wow.
And I saw Sean Stockman's wedding from Boyz II Men.
Wow.
And I saw Fish in the Dance Floor. And I don't know why Fish in the Dance Floor got to me, but I told my mom, that woman is going to plan my wedding. And my mother was like, you are absolutely crazy, but whatever. And I think I wrote the name down somewhere because I said, I can't forget this person. I need to know who she is. So fast forward, 2006, my friend Toya Menzie, the lyric Limerick Lane is her blog. She actually tells me about this Nike event that's coming to Chicago, and I, go to work the event, and never in anything that she said did she say anything about Diann Valentine. So when I showed up and saw Diann Valentine, I said, oh my God. And it was funny because I think I was the only person who knew who she was, and so I didn't.
Right, clearly.
I was real calm, and I did my job, and afterwards, she's like, are you sure you haven't done this before? You did a great job, and I was so excited. I said, oh, this is great. So I finally was like, let me just tell this woman that I know who she is, and I told her, I said, I have been watching you, and I told her about the fish, and I said, I can't believe I had this opportunity, and so it was wonderful, and actually that day, I don't know if you remember, Diann, but they had given you some shoes, and they didn't fit you. And so you said, oh, these just didn't work on my feet. Does anyone wear this size? And I said, I do. And you were like, well, if you just come to my hotel, you can pick them up. And so Diann gave me her shoes, her Nikes.
Wow. I so don't
remember. And like I said, she probably does not remember this, but she gave me her shoes, and I literally, that year was the year that my parents bought my Wii, and I worked out every day in those shoes in front of my TV.
Wow.
I swapped like 6 dress sizes, and I went home to buy a dress. My mother's like, do you know what size these dresses are you're picking off the rack? I was like, yes, I know. And she couldn't believe when the dresses zipped up. And I said, oh, I can't wait to show Diann. I can't believe I did this with these shoes. So that's the quick and dirty of how I met Diann Valentine. And we have been friends ever since. Of course, social media helped us to reconnect. And so now I've done more events with her. And, we see each other when we're in the same city. We actually spent Mother's Day together, which was crazy. But, yeah, she is the best. And how did you, a little girl from Oakland, what was your dream of what you wanted to do when you grew up?
My dream wasn't necessarily to design weddings or to do special events. It was nothing like that. My deepest desire was to be around love. And that's really what's been the driving force in my life since, for as long as I can remember, since I was a kid. So it's always been about love. My parents divorced when I was 7, and so for me, that was like the end of the family that I knew, the whole family unit. And so I just knew that I wanted to be around love. I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to be around other people that were in love. And you can hear my grandbaby in the background, so everybody say hi to Zah, because he's not going to be quiet. But love was always been a driving force for me. And, I decided to start my company when I was in high school. It was going to pay my way through college, and then after college, I was going to go to law school. I was going to get a real job, so I thought. And I just really fell in love with love and the ability to help people express themselves creatively in ways that they didn't know was possible for them.
That is quite a vision to have. I couldn't imagine. But you know, her last name really is Valentine. This is not some Hollywood thing. That's really her last name. So I think that God put this upon her because she was in the love business.
I know he did. I know he did. I know that now. Of course, I didn't know that when I was going through it, but I absolutely am certain beyond a shadow of a doubt that love is my ministry, that is my calling, and that is my purpose. I don't believe that I will be, you know, doing weddings for the rest of my life. Definitely not. But what I do know is wherever God's plan is for me, that love is going to get me there.
That is a great vision and a great ministry to have. What was the first wedding you did? I know because I've read the book, but tell everyone, please.
Oh, man. Oh, my very first wedding, my cousin was getting married, and she didn't live in Oakland, which is where I'm from. She lived in Los Angeles at the time, but she was getting married at home. And so she called and said, you know, Diann, will you help me plan my wedding? And I was like, sure, why not? It'll be fun. I was a senior in high school, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I thought, I mean, it can't be, you know, too major, right? I had been class president in 7th, 8th, 9th grade, valedictorian, you know, debate team, you know, principal's personal assistant. I had done all of those things that I felt was preparing me to be a leader. I was incredibly organized, and so I just helped her plan it, and I liked it so much, so I thought, this is the business I'm going to start. It's going to help pay my way through college.
So you started the business then, and then you went. Now, what was the next thing? Did you go to college and major in something that had to do with political science and onto your career as a lawyer?
Not at all. My major was business administration with marketing, and I had a minor in African American studies. So I figured I needed to learn how to run a business, and then I was going to go to law school, and it just all changed, and I never looked back.
So you ended up working for, was it a record label or was it a TV cable? What was it, a TV network?
It was Warner Brothers Studios.
Yeah.
So when I first moved to Los Angeles, I ran my company. I'm originally from the Bay Area, so I'm from Oakland. And when I started my company, I ran it there for 5 or 6 years, and I started doing, you know, events and weddings for like the daughters of doctors and lawyers, and I started working for some NBA players. And so the buzz just kind of started to grow. But at the time, I just felt like I needed more. You know, I think the biggest wedding I'd done at home was about a $100,000 wedding. And I was just like, yeah, okay, that's nice, but I just really need more. I need bigger. And so in a matter of 2 weeks, I decided to pack up my life and move to Los Angeles. And I came with nothing but my car and some clothes and a TV, and slept on the floor for a long time, and moved to LA and just said, there has to be something bigger for me. There has to be something else. And when I moved to LA, I got a job at Warner Brothers Studios. I was working in post-production, really, and I was in the home video division. So within a year, I had gone from an assistant to the director of worldwide DVD production. So I went from making $24,000 a year to making, you know, over $100,000 in less than a year. And I just felt like, if I was making that, you know, at 25, if I was making $100,000 at 25 and I'm managing a $5 billion library for Warner Home Video, then how much are they making? Because that's really what I'm interested in. And fortunately, my reputation as a wedding planner followed me to LA. And so I got a call one day from a friend who told me that she knew Leela Rashawn, and Leela was getting married, and she recommended her. And Leela and I met, and I never thought she would hire me, but she did. And while I was planning Leela's wedding, I quit my job at Warner Brothers, my 6-figure, with my big office on the corner. And I decided to just really hang my hat on love.
That is a very interesting story, and it's just, I love listening to these stories because it doesn't matter how you start or where, you just usually end up exactly where you're supposed to be if you will listen.
Yes.
You have to listen.
I believe that we always end up where we're supposed to be, but how quickly we get there depends on us and no one else.
You cannot get in your own way, because you could have stayed, because of money, you could have stayed at that job.
Of course.
And, you know, who knows what could have happened, but you could have stayed there because that was the safe thing to do.
Yeah. And money has never motivated me, ever. Money has never been the motivation. Now, don't get me wrong. I do have a shopping problem. I do have too many shoes that I should have. So I enjoy my life. I travel. I shop. Life is good. So I appreciate money in my life, but money has never been a driving force for me. You know, there's a cliche, a very old cliche that says, do what you love and the money will follow. And that is exactly what I did. I have always done what I've been passionate about. I've always done what I think is going to move somebody else, that's somehow going to make somebody else's life better because I'm in it. And I've done that through expressing myself creatively. And it's just paid off in a much bigger way than I ever imagined it would have.
So for those, Diann, obviously she just said that's her grandchild. Diann was a single parent and raised her daughter and had this wonderful business. Can you speak to the single mothers out there as to how you were able to do that?
Well, you know, just being a mom first, women are equipped to be super women. We just are. God equips us with something, a strength, a tenacity, a sense of self-worth and determination that men don't have. And I think that's primarily because of motherhood. So we are moved by a force that is so bigger than I think what men are moved by because of our ability to just reproduce and to give life. So being a mother alone certainly helped me discover what I was truly made of, right? So I realized that I could do far more than I ever said I could do. And then when the unfortunate turn came and I was now a single mother, I had to deal with that reality. And so I just believed that that same reality was possible for me, whether I was a mother, a married mother, a single mother, or, you know, a working mom. I felt like women can have it all. We can do it. We can have it all. We can say we want something for our lives, and we can go out and get it, and we can achieve it. Now, if you are a single mother like I was, it means that something's got to give. So for me, it was a personal life. I decided that my career was going to be, you know, my primary focus, and my daughter. So it just meant that I really didn't have time to date. I didn't have time to hang out with my friends. I didn't get to go to clubs. I didn't get to do all the things that, you know, my friends do when they're in their 20s, because I was a mom and I was incredibly, incredibly focused. But I thank God for her, because had she not been there, you know, I'm sure I would have probably gone down the same career path. But I don't know that I would have been as driven so immediately. She gave me a sense of urgency that this is the only life you got, and it's not yours anymore. You have this life to create for Ryan. And what are you going to do for Ryan? Thank you.
Yes, well, that's good motivation. And clearly you did a great job, because, like I said, this is her grandchild. So we know she did a great job raising Ryan. And then you later in life, you got married, which a lot of girls that are watching this, a lot of my friends, you know, we're struggling with career and, you know, still not married. And you literally have done it all now. So now you got married.
Yes.
And so, you know, you work very closely with your husband a lot. How does that dynamic work out?
Well, you know, I'll tell you that my father gave me the best advice I've ever gotten in my life. And when it came to marriage, he told me that, Diann, you should not even think about getting married until you're at least 35. And then once you turn 35, then you can start thinking about it, and you should not get married before you are 40. And now, when I was growing up, I was like, Daddy, no, I'm going to be an old maid. Ain't nobody going to marry me at 40. Well, I want to do that. You don't want me to be happy. I was neurotic. Of course, because I worked in love. So I'm like, why don't I have it? Why am I always the wedding planner and never the girl in love? But it was really the best advice I've ever gotten in my life, because the person you are at 20 is not who you are at 25, it's not who you are at 30, and it's certainly not who you are at 35. And so I think the fact that my husband and I got married when I was 39. And so by the time I met him, we fell in love and got very serious. I was very, very, very clear about who I am. I was very clear about who I am, who I wanted out of a mate, what I expected, what I was willing to tolerate, what I was not willing to tolerate, and at the same token, how far I was willing to go for love. You know what I mean? So it made waiting and living simply makes me a better wife for my husband, and we are so much alike. We are both incredibly driven, and we are type A personalities, and we are a bit abrupt from time to time. We're aggressive. You know, that is just who we are. And so we complement each other so well. So you know how the old saying goes, right? Opposites attract. Okay, I believe that opposites attract, but I don't believe that opposites last. I think that people that have really core values in common are the ones that last. And my husband, he's my best friend, but he's also a businessman. He's an entrepreneur. He was the baby of the family. I'm the baby of the family. Most successful in his family, most educated in his family. So there's so many things that make us alike. You know, he grew up with his dad. I grew up with my dad. All of those things make us incredibly compatible, you know, for one another. And they're really things that I could not have, you know, known in my 20s. And, you know, it's so unfortunate because I really try and, you know, talk to young girls all the time, especially when they're engaged at 20 and they're 22 and they're like, oh my God, I can't wait and I want this big wedding. And I'm just like, what is the rush, right? So when you get engaged and you say you're going to dedicate your life to somebody, you stand up there and say those vows till death do us part. And guess what? Forever is a really, really, really long time. That is a really long time. So you think you're going to love somebody till death do they part, right? But when you make that decision at 20, child, you probably can't stand him by 30. That is just some ridiculousness, foolishness. You know, because when you're 20, you be thinking, oh, is he cute? And does he have a nice car? And, you know, can he afford to take me to dinner? Okay, well, maybe if he's 25, maybe can he buy me some Louboutins? That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? When you're 35, you're thinking about, do we share the same kind of life goals? How does he treat his mother? Or what does his picture of divorce look like? Or what is family to him? Or what is he going to do with his mother when she gets old enough and can't take care of herself? So basically, I'm saying wait. Don't rush it. Wait, wait, wait. 35. Not a minute sooner.
Okay, well, I'm past 35, I'll tell everyone today. So we're just waiting patiently. And now I'm not so sure I want Diann to plan the wedding as much as I need her to be in the pews.
Believe me, I'm always thrilled when I get to be a guest because it's so rare. So rare.
So you have this wonderful business, you're planning weddings and events as well.
Yeah.
So, and I know that reinventing yourself is a big thing with you. So what was the first thing you did that was different from that?
You mean from weddings? Or?
Yeah, so from weddings, so you went, you know, like when was the becoming an author or the hosting and, you know, speaking?
Right. Well, you know, for me, as with anyone else, a career, you know, life is just about progression, and it's about always being able to move forward and always being able to see how your life is going to evolve. I think that gone are the days where we grow up, we get a job at a company, we work there for 40 years, and then we retire, right? So for me, growth is what is my mission and what is my purpose? It's love. How do I work in this thing called love? I work it through creatively expressing it, whether people are in love with another person, whether they are in love with someone in their family they're throwing a party for, whether they want to feel the love when they walk into their home. So I design homes. And I started thinking about what are all of the iterations of how I can express love creatively you know, as a lover of love. So it was a natural transition for me to go from weddings to events, and from events to doing interior design, and, you know, having a great wedding, a great portfolio of images taught me that, okay, now I need to document this in a book form, something that will live forever. And then from there, you know, it grew into television. Well, obviously you can see I'm not shy. I never have a loss of words, and I have the gift of gab. And I want to be able to continue this ministry of love. So if I'm only working with one client, one girl, one family, one company at a time, am I really operating in my purpose? Or do I need to find the vehicle that is going to allow me to speak to millions of women, so that I can truly walk in my purpose and what I believe I was called to do? And so television is just another way for me to reach more people, for me to share a little bit of Valentine love with whoever I come in contact with.
So can you please share with everyone, what are the Valentine products that you have? Because I know you have some interior design products outside of the cuff, but we'll talk about that later. So
yes.
What are the products you have?
Well, the full collection is called Diann Valentine Home. And so the anchor of that is the Valentine cuff, which is my evolution of the bridal bouquet. I think it is ridiculous for a woman to pay thousands of dollars for a wedding gown, and then the doors to the church or whatever open up. She's walking down the aisle and she's carrying a $300 bouquet, and it's covering it all up. I think it doesn't make sense. So my cuff is really an opportunity for women to still have a floral accessory, because I think that's what they want, but it's an accessory that honors the wedding gown, because on your wedding day, you and that dress is who should be the star of the show, not anybody's bouquet, and I don't care how beautiful it is or how talented they are. So the Valentine cuff is my anchor, but then we also have a line of charger plates and napkin rings and napkins and candles and, you know, accessories and different things that basically help people entertain and live well. You know, I work with a lot of people. I work with a lot of very successful, a lot of very wealthy people. And the one commonality I think between all of them is that they all make a lot of money. They're all very successful. And none of them really live well. None of them. And what I mean by that is, I cannot tell you how many times I've gone to a client's house and I'm in a 15,000 plus square foot home, palatial estate, lots of staff everywhere, and I'll say, you know what, can I have some water? Do you mind if I have some water? And they will give me some water in a plastic cup. And I'm like, wow, really? I mean, do you not want to do the dishes? Or, you know what I mean? Or you go to their house and they having like, everybody's in the backyard hanging out, and it's like the red plastic cups everywhere. Yeah. And I'm just like, what is happening here? Like, why are people eating on paper plates and, you know, plastic forks when this is your life? Like, why is that? And I just really find that people don't invest into their home life as much as they do into the things that people see. So we see a big fancy house, right? We see a big expensive flashy car. We see expensive, you know, shoes and handbags. But it's time to entertain. Or I cannot tell you how many times I've gone to somebody's house for dinner, where they're hosting a party of some sort, right? And the food is always cold.
Uh-oh.
It's always cold. Because people cook. You know, I have friends that are great cooks, right? So they cook all this food and they put it all out, but then everything is cold. So now you're taking your paper plate, you fill it up, and then you put it in a microwave. As opposed to people buying chafing dishes, having food cooked, and now they put it in their chafing dishes, and now it's warm throughout the entire party. But maybe that's just too much like right, huh?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Right. Common sense isn't always common.
You know, so that is what Diann Valentine Home is about, is a collection of products that allow people to entertain in a beautiful way, allows them to be great hosts in their home, and essentially introduces them to the art of living well.
Okay. And where can they find the cuff? Anyone wants any of your products, Diann Valentine Home Collection. Where can they find those products?
Everything can be found at DiannValentine.com, and everything is for sale either on the website, and we also have a list of retailers that carry the products, and all that information can be found there.
Great. So here is the book.
Wow.
Can see.
You have the book?
You sent me this book, as you don't recall that either. And so this book, did you self-publish, or did you have a publisher?
No, it was published by Atria, which is a division of Simon & Schuster.
Okay. So the book is, it's like a good coffee table book, but there is most coffee table books are just pictures, but there's actually a lot of really interesting stories in the book. I really enjoyed it, and it was very well done. So I highly recommend anybody want to go get the book, they should get the book.
Ah, thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. And actually, I will try and see if I can put the link on my site as well, but it's a great book, and I recommend it to everyone. I felt funny going to buy the book because I wasn't getting married. You know, they have all those superstitions. If you go buy wedding magazines, you'll never get married. I was like, I can't buy this book. And then that's another funny story. So Diann had some contest on Twitter and said, whoever is my whatever follower, I'm going to send a book to them. And my sister texts me and goes,
I remember that.
Diann's whatever. You remember that?
I do remember that.
I was like, you were the follower? You won? And she's like, yes. And I go, you're joking. She's like, no. So the thing was that when I first met Diann, she had said, oh, I'm going to have to send you a copy of my book. Give me your address. So I did. Years passed. She forgot. I didn't worry about it. So then my sister wins this book. I said, oh, no, there's no way that this little girl's going to have the book and I'm not. So I emailed Diann and was like, that was my sister that won. She said, what? I was like, yeah, that was my sister. And remember, you were supposed to send me a book. So she sent me a book, too. So we both got our books.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not completely trifling.
You're not trifling at all. You're not trifling at all. So, yes, Diann sent me the book, and like I said, it's a really wonderful book. I have many coffee table books, but most of them never see the light of day. But this one, like I said, was really good because there was stuff to read in there, and I think reading other love stories and hearing love stories always make feel like it's coming. Inspiration.
I
motivating
agree.
Me
yes.
to, put my best face out there and get out and,
explore. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So that's why I did thoroughly enjoy the book and was wanting to get it. And actually, I had a girlfriend who had it. And she wasn't engaged or married yet, and I said, see, this is why I shouldn't go get this book. She is married and has kids now.
Oh, nice. The book works.
Like, I think,
the book works.
Right, the book works, exactly. I think she was my only friend that knew who you were besides my sister because she watched the special with me. But she was the only other person who was excited with me that I was like, I'm working with Diann Valentine. She's like, oh, my God.
That is so funny.
Right.
So funny.
So what is a day in the life of Diann Valentine? Because I know that you have a lot going on.
Busy. It is very, very busy. I start my day typically between 5 and 6 a.m. I wake up, I do my social media, I get up out of bed, I pray, I go to the gym, I work out. So I'm usually home dressed between, 9 and 10 o'clock. Start my day. And I'm usually starting the day checking on cuff production because, thank God, knock on wood, the cuffs are doing very well. So I check on cuff production and how that's going. And then the rest of the day is just a barrage of email, phone call, driving to appointment, checking in with my husband. I probably call my husband 5 times a day. So I'm like, what you doing? He like, what you doing? And in between client meetings, lunches, designing something new, working on a current project, looking for a new project. When you're an entrepreneur, you're always looking. You're always hunting for your next great opportunity. And then there is the occasional audition that comes in, trying to find my way back to network television. I have one on Monday, so there's always an audition or a meeting with a producer or a casting director or something like that. And then in the middle of that, I also do a lot of travel. Last year, I flew about 150,000 miles. So I am traveling a lot, both for work. I was going to say work and play, but I think I only took one trip last year that was not work, and that was to see my father. So, which is really sad that I didn't even get a vacation last year. I didn't. Dang, that's crazy. Anyway, so lots of travel, lots of work. It's just busy. It's just busy. And as you can see, I have my grandbaby. So whenever he's around, it's like life stops, right? It just stops because, you know, I'm in a different place now as a Lola versus where I was when I was a mom. When I was a single mom, I was hustling and I had this baby to take care of, and I was so, you know, concerned about creating a good life for her. And so I worked so much. But now with him, I'm like, it's okay, Zop. I'll deal with it later. You know, I'll work on it tomorrow, because I just realized that he's only going to be this little once. And I miss so much with my own daughter. And so, you know, when he's here, I try to just kind of stop what I'm doing. And it doesn't matter whether he's over at the house or he's at my office. Time just stops when he shows up.
That is wonderful. If anyone has questions, please, if you're watching via Google+, you can ask questions. The little white squares in the upper right-hand corner, click on those. You'll see it says Q&A, and then the question bar will drop onto the right side of your screen, and please feel free to ask questions. If you tweet me questions, I may possibly see them, and I can answer them as well. Hashtag Ask Dr. Renee Show. But, so what is the lesson you think it took you the longest to learn?
Wow, what's the toughest lesson I've had to learn is that you cannot rush God. So if you believe in God, you know, I talk about God a lot, and I believe that there are just so many religions out there, and I don't get into debating religion with people, but what I do tell them is that if you don't believe in something that is bigger than all of you and all of me and bigger than this world, then you're in trouble. So you better believe that there is a higher power, a God, whatever, you know what I mean? That has to be your source. And so if I really believe what I say I believe, then I know that my life is part of his destiny. For my own life, it's my own path, it's my destiny. And I have often tried to rush the process of so many things because I want it now, 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 I want a career like Tyra Banks right now, I want a career like Oprah right now, I don't want to work for it. And so that has probably been the toughest lessons, is to know that all that I can do is all that I can do. And then once I've done all that I can do, all I can do is wait on God. So did you get that? All I can do is all I can do. And once I've done all I can do is wait on God.
Okay, that's tweetable. And actually, I see that we are getting a lot of tweets. So hopefully, they caught that and they will tweet that out, because that was excellent. Oh, we have a question from my wonderful sister. This is the first time in 13 episodes that she's been able to ask a question, so I'm happy. Best advice someone not currently following their passion. What's your best advice for them?
Be willing to be an interruption in your own story that you keep telling yourself. Because, see, when people aren't following their passion, what they really are saying is that I don't have the courage to do what's really in my heart's desire. And the courage won't come unless you just do it. Right? So you have to interrupt the story that's playing in your mind. You have to interrupt all of the negative voices that are telling you all the reasons why you can't do something. You don't have enough money, you're not pretty enough, you're not skilled enough, you don't have enough time. So once you interrupt that story, you can start telling yourself a different story. And that's where the dreams lie.
That is so true. Like I said, I met Diann in 2006, but she has been big sister mentor and just inspiration. And she knows that we both are like, we want to get on TV. And so I told her, I was like, I came up with this crazy idea to do this show. Would you be so kind as to be a guest on my show? And she doesn't usually do stuff like this, but she was kind enough to do this for me. I so appreciate her.
I do not, but I do adore you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, so she had a show I do over with, well, first was Wedding Day, right?
First there was Wedding in a Week.
Wedding in a Week, yes.
Yes.
Then Wedding Day, then I do over.
And then I do
Now,
over.
before she got, well, we watched all of them because that you got to watch. So we always support everything. And I mean, Wedding Day came on at like 5 in the morning or some crazy hour, which was so crazy.
Yeah.
But and we'll never forget. She transformed all my fellow Detroiters. She transformed Belle Isle to the point that we didn't recognize it.
Wow, that was a great episode. But you know what happened with Wedding Day? This is where I talk about not rushing God, right? So when I got Wedding Day was a Mark Burnett production. So it was Mark Burnett, it was DreamWorks, and it was TNT. And it was TNT.
Mark Burnett is Survivor, just in case no one knows.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like who could not know Mark Burnett? Survivor, The Voice, like on and on and on. But okay, I do live in Hollywood. I get it.
Right.
So Mark Burnett, DreamWorks Television, and TNT. And it was TNT's first reality show, right? It was a huge show. It was the biggest show I had ever been on. We had 8 cameras shooting every day. Every single day we had 8 cameras. We had like 12 producers working on the show. It was so big. It was amazing, right? Did all this work. We shot 5 episodes, got picked up for 5, and then they picked up another 5 episodes. So we got 10-episode run before it even aired. And then before Wedding Day aired, they had sold out all of the advertising for season 2. Before the show even aired, they had sold out all the ad space for season 2. That's how much people were anticipating. So I was like, okay, Lord, I'm ready, because basically I'm going to be the Ty Pennington of weddings, and I appreciate that because I've been waiting long enough, and hello, it is my time. I'm ready.
Exactly.
Hello, where is my trailer? That's what I'm saying, right? So Wedding Day premieres, right, on a Thursday night. Well, Thursday afternoon at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Farrah Fawcett dies. And then at 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the afternoon, they announce that the king of pop has died, that Michael Jackson died. And I am just sitting at home like, oh my God, this cannot be happening on the same day my show premieres. So anyway, we premiered that night. We had 1 million viewers. The goal was like 1.5 million. The next week, we were on Saturday mornings at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and it was a wrap. So that is a perfect example of how you cannot rush God. It doesn't matter what you want or when you want it. God knows when His timing is perfect. He knows when you are ready to receive all that He has for you. And until you are in the fullness of His time, it doesn't matter if everything seems perfect. It will not work.
This is true. Well, like I said, the show, I enjoyed it. But me and my sister and my mother, we watched TLC's little show about weddings when I was in high school, when I was in college. Like, we always watched weddings for whatever reason. I have no idea. But we loved watching weddings. And that Wedding Day, that transformed Belle Isle. We had to keep reminding ourselves through the episode, is that really Belle Isle? Is that really Belle Isle? It just never looked like that ever. To the point that really I was like, well, maybe we could have a wedding over there, Mom, because this is something different.
All right.
But yeah, so that was a great show. And then I Do Over. So before I Do Over came on, that's when we reconnected via social media, and we were just talking and whatever. And the craziest thing to me was that Diann had less followers than I did, and I was just like, how is this even possible? Does anyone know who this is? And so,
how about you're the only one who cares? Okay, you are the only one who cares. Everybody, like, yeah, lady. I got it.
So Diann sends me the book, and she puts a note in the book, and she says she is getting a TV show. She needs to increase her fan base. Please help. So I am one of those people. My thing is make it happen. So my sister and I were like, okay, we're going to do this. Diann has 5-figure, what do you have, 20,000 followers now or something?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I remember the first night the show came on and she starts tweeting and it was wrong. I'm sending her texts and tweets like, no, you got to do it this way. You have to type it that way.
I don't know how you remember all of this. All I know is I need some ginseng. That's all I know. I am feeling like the old woman who can't remember anything.
So you have a child and a grandchild. You have all the excuses in the world. Ooh. I have and a husband. I don't have a husband. I don't have children.
Ooh, we got a full day over here, a full life.
So that, I mean, the show was excellent, and I don't know why they didn't keep with that show either, because she would literally do over people's, if they had a really, something horrible, you know, it could be traumatic, it could be weather, something happened to their wedding day, and she did them over. And they were, of course, beautiful and wonderful weddings. So those people that got them done over, I'm sure, very blessed.
Yes, yes. It was a great experience.
Yes, definitely. So now she is on Black Hollywood Live, which is a YouTube channel owned by Maria Menounos from, she was on Extra, I think? Yeah, Extra.
Yes. Extra.
She owns this network. It's like I said, it's a YouTube channel that has a whole bunch of really great programming. Just to let you know, I've watched other things. But Diann's show is called Just Saying, and she is a host now. Cherie Fletcher and April Daniels. And this is your third week?
Yes,
right?
our third live show. Yes.
Yeah, so it comes on tonight live at what time? Oh, 7 your time, right?
7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We stream live, and then the link is, of course, on the channel.
Available, yeah. But it's a great show, 3 girlfriends. So how did this idea come about? Was this something you guys thought of, or did they come to you?
Well, you know, actually, we all it's a group of us that we became really good friends. And, you know, doing a YouTube show is something I've been wanting to do for a while, because I've had 3 network shows now, and for one reason or another, they didn't work. And so, as you know, I'm impatient. And so I'm just at a point in my life where I want to own my art. I want to own my creative ability. I want to own my creative voice. I want to own the Diann Valentine brand. And so I felt like if we could establish the show, that we could demonstrate our ability to garner an audience, you know, capture attention and viewers and interest on our own. So there's something that I live by, and it's called, it's a mantra. And if it's to be, it's up to me, right? So if it's to be, it's up to me. Nobody else. If it's to be, it's up to me. So if I want a television career, what am I going to do to create my own television career for me? And so I approached my girlfriends. I told them I thought it would be really fun if we did it ourselves and not waited for a studio or not waited for the perfect audition, and give it a shot. And Cherie Fletcher, my girlfriend Cherie, had a relationship with Black Hollywood Live, and she said, well, why don't we do it here? And one thing led to another, and yeah, now we're on Friday nights at 7 p.m. And people are starting, it's starting to pick up. People are starting to watch it. We're getting great feedback, so I'm thrilled. We shoot tonight, actually, and actually I need to leave in an hour.
Yeah, everyone needs to watch the show. I've watched every episode. Last week had to have been the funniest one I've ever seen. It was hilarious.
I know.
Watch the video.
Honey.
Too funny for words. They talked about sex and marriage, and it was a hoot and a holler. They had pictures, and so need I say more? So please make sure that you watch Just Saying at 7 p.m. on Friday. Well, 7 p.m. Pacific time on Friday nights. So it's a great, if you're home Friday night, and like I said, you can watch the video, but I watched live and was in the chat room with the other ladies, and it was hilarious even in the chat room. That was a whole nother conversation.
Thank you. I know, it was. And I was surprised how many married couples are not having sex. Like, what is happening? How are these people married? But anyway, that's Just Saying.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's Just Saying. So it's very good, and I think they're a great blend of women, and so I wish you guys the biggest success, because, and I saw, like, even in the beginning of that night, right after you aired, it already had like 200 views in the first like hour or two. So clearly
people are tuning in. Yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. We're excited.
Yeah. So, but yes, as she said, she does have to leave to go shoot that. So we don't want to keep her too much longer. Does anyone have any last-minute questions? You need to throw them in now. And Diann, what is your definition of success? That's what we ask all our guests.
My definition of success is freedom. Simple as that. The ability to do what I want to do when I want to do it. Freedom. Knowing that my family is okay. You know, my future is kind of prepared for. My grandbaby will have immense opportunities when he grows up. And, yeah, that's success. It's real simple. A lot of people have a number.
Finish the sentence. Oh, yeah.
A lot of people have a number.
Right.
Like it's 5 million, 10 million, 15, 20 million. Doesn't matter to me what the number is. What matters to me is freedom. Because freedom can come with a little money or it can come with a lot.
This is true. Finish this sentence. I believe in
God.
Love is
Unspeakable.
My job is
My job is to help people live the art of living well.
And branding is
Branding is knowing what your product is that you're selling, and what is the image that you want the world to know about your brand. So it's identifying who you are and what you want people to take away when they think of you.
And what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice I've ever gotten has come from my mother, and my mother would tell me when I was growing up and when I started my first business, she would say that you need to work like it all depends on you, and you need to pray like it all depends on God.
And what was the quote that we need to remember again about waiting for God?
So all you can do is all you can do. And once you've done all you can do, then all you can do is wait on God.
And with that, thank you so much, Diann. Thank you, Zob, because you were actually a very good 2-year-old.
Wasn't he? I know. I'm
wonderful.
Shocked he has not been screaming at the top of his lungs. Thank you, Zob.
Wonderful.
Thank
so
you,
appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Renee.
Thank you so much. And please, everyone, watch Just Saying tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Central. And thank you, Diann. And we will let you know if we're going to have a show on Sunday. We had a last-minute cancellation. But thank you, everyone, for watching. And if you know anybody that has a motivational, inspirational story, please let me know. I will have all of Diann's information, her website, Twitter, Instagram, all of that in the box below. And you can reach all of us that way. Please don't forget to follow both of us. Subscribe to our channels on YouTube. Like our pictures on Instagram. And like our fan pages. Because all these things, as everyone knows, are very important.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Everyone have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.